Welcome one and welcome all to the Lady T's Let's Talk. And I'm your girl, Lady T. It's always a pleasure to be here and engage with my wonderful listeners. And I hope that you all are having a very blessed and enchanting day. I tell you, I'm so geeked. I am so happy to be able to bring you this segment. I was so very happy when I did this, and I'm like, my listeners, I think, will appreciate this segment, and I think that they will like it, and I hope that you guys do like it. I think it's very informative, and I'm speaking from the heart, and I'm just not going to procrastinate on this topic any longer. Because this topic is very important, and I believe it's something that is important to the Black community and our people who live in it. Black-owned businesses, and why it's so important to support our Black-owned businesses. For one, we have to understand Black-owned businesses. For one, it originated in the days of slavery. Okay? That's where it originated from, in the days of slavery. So when we walk into a Black-owned business establishment today, it's a certain respect and history for that establishment in which we're standing in. Everyone has a history. So when you go in, remember, it's a certain respect and history geared to why that establishment is up and running today. Just like Baby said when he walked up into the Breakfast Club, put some spec on it. Well, we're going to put some respect on the name of Black-owned businesses. It originated in the days of slavery before 1865. This is a fact. And I'm going to explain why these businesses were so important then as well as they are today. Because of Jim Crow. And for my listeners that may not know what Jim Crow is or how Jim Crow was established, I ask that you do your research and find out, and you'll be amazed at what you find, because that was an era that was very, very important. It's very, very vital era. And I will leave links below so that you can further find information on Jim Crow. But I'm going to keep on with the segment. Jim Crow forced African Americans to form more insulated communities separate from whites. So this was important for Black people to open up Black-owned businesses, because a lot of Blacks were limited as to where they can shop for everyday essentials. So during this time, there was a shift, like there was an expansion of Black-owned businesses because of this. Not only in one state, not only in the city, but across the country in African American communities, because it was something that was necessary. I will read this here, and this is something that I found, and this is a snippet of what I found, so I will read this. Booker T. Washington, which is another Black figure in history, which we all should read more about. He founded the National Negro Business League, which is now the National Business League. If I read that correctly, I'll do it again, but I'm not sure. He founded the National Negro Business League, which is now the National Business League. And that name changed in 1966. Okay, that league helped support Black entrepreneurs to start and grow businesses. And from that, 600 of those chapters were then established across the United States. So, my people, supporting Black-owned businesses is very important because it's a part of our history. And just for that reason, for its existence is very vital to our culture. I said, whoa. Yeah, I want to speak on this because it was something that hit me and I'm like, yes, this is important. This is major. Not only do I want to use my voice, but I want to use my voice in positive things that can help our community grow, hopefully. And as I always stated before, if I just reach one person that may be listening and gain something out of my segments, then I know that I'm doing something positive. So I wanted to speak on that. I want to speak on Black-owned businesses, and I'm doing so. It's like I said, it's important to our community. It's relevant to our community. We should know the history and its existence, know how Black people fought, the obstacles and the barriers that they had to endure to do something that was important to the communities in which they lived at the time, as well as believing in the African American community to enrich it and help the Black people strive and survive. And that's what a lot of Black businesses are doing today. I hope that you guys are following me. Keeping the existence alive and believing in ourselves to do better. And believe in the people within our community is the importance of Black-owned businesses today. So let's keep supporting them. Let's keep supporting our Black-owned businesses. They need our support as well as we need them in our communities. Let's do this. Let's do it together. I keep it 100 with you guys because you guys are my listeners and you guys support me as well. When I started this podcast, I didn't think I had one listener at first, but I found out that I had lots of listeners. And I'm like, whoa. But when I started it just went in, I just went in. So since I'm becoming a little bit more, just a little bit more polished on my approaches to doing it, I'm like, I can use my platform to do a lot of positive things. I know some of my topics in the past may be a little risque, yeah. But I speak on what's in my heart, and I try to bring a little entertainment into it. So some of my topics may be just a little risque, but I try to bring the most important relative information to my listeners, the stuff that's vital. I speak what's on my mind. So with that being said, I will say this. We need more Black-owned beauty supplies in our community. Okay, there, I said it. We could use more Black-owned beauty supplies. Okay, well, I know we can use a lot of more Black-owned businesses other than that, but that's just something I want to throw out there and get off my chest. But please write into me, ladyttalk@gmail.com, and let me know what you think we need more of in our communities. And I'll be glad to bring it on a segment and speak on it. And let's do this. We need more resources for our communities that is geared towards teaching people how to start businesses, how to help our brothers and sisters how to help them become entrepreneurs, and how to teach them how to become self-made. And I want to give a standing ovation to Madam C.J. Walker. Self-made is where it's at, and that's what's up. And all of the other ones that followed her blueprint, because it's a blueprint out here. It's a blueprint. And if you follow the blueprint, you will become successful, building our communities up, not tearing them down. We had enough of that. We want to build them up and uplift people. Black-owned businesses sometimes fail within the first 16 to 18 months of opening because of lack of resources and funding. So let's start educating our entrepreneurs and future entrepreneurs on the ways that they can find the resources and funding that they need to stay afloat and stay up and running. Recycling these dollars would help tremendously as well, because recycling these dollars will help at-risk youth and the ones that aren't at risk. It just will help the youth in general, period. The brown and the Black youth to become successful and help them build better lives and better futures for themselves. Creating jobs and giving the opportunity to make these things happen within our community is very important. And it begins with support. I know that within the Black community, the ability to create and be business oriented sometimes is not always instilled in our children. And I know because I'm a product of it, so I can speak on it. It wasn't instilled in me as a child to start businesses and do certain things like save money and so forth and so on. So I had to learn as I went along. A lot of stuff I learned as I went along. It just wasn't. But now that I know better, I can do better. So let's start talking to our children more about it, and they'll do better because they know better. I'm not saying all Black families or all families or whatever family don't do it, because I know there's so many that do. So many that do. And there's so many children out here now that are starting businesses as young as 10 years old. But look at it back then as compared to now. Okay, you know better now, you do better, right? I'm trying to be as frank as I can, but I need to give you guys the message. It's just been 10 years ago, or for me, that I started speaking to my children about entrepreneurship and start